I don't look at another person because of the skin color or where they're from to be different from me. It's just that who you believe yourself to be, because we all created in the same image of God. There's nobody better than anybody.
All right, welcome to another edition of the Journey to Freedom podcast, where we this year are interviewing 100 Black men, and we start thinking about what is it in now. Richard here is in Canada now. He's from the country of Ghana, which is even better than I'm not saying it's better than wherever people live, right? Because you don't have a choice where you're born, right? But it's nice to see somebody that has matriculated and figured out, okay, I can live in Ghana and I can grow up there and I can become the man that I need to be in Ghana. Then I can transplant myself to Canada and then I can spend 40 years in Canada and still be able to be successful. Because ultimately, we want to talk about what does it mean to be successful in our planet, in our world, and the things that we get to do on a daily basis. And what does success mean? And if we say that success leaves clues, what are some of the clues that are done? So not only has he been able to matriculate and live in one country and be able to thrive in another country and be able to work back and forth from Canada and the United States and back and forth on all the different things that need to be done. But he's been able to write a couple books, which he's going to talk to us about, and how to serve others. One of the prayers that I tell each of you about every single day is, dear Lord, give me the wisdom to do the things that you put me on this earth to do in a way that pleases you and serves others. And here's what I can say about Richard is he figured out a way to serve others. He's figured out a way to take the gifts that God has given him, the gifts that the skill set that he has been endowed with, and say, you know what, I don't need it just for me. I want to be able to share it with the world. I want to be able to help other people. We were just talking before we got started about, one of the books that he wrote is about weight loss. When we talk about our 5 pillars of faith and health and trust and identity, he's saying, wait a minute, there's a lot of people that have issues with weight loss. And there's so many people that think that the way that you solve weight loss is through a pill or through some, crazy formula that you can drink, or that you can, that all of a sudden that if you drink this 5 times a day, then all of a sudden you're going to be skinny and healthy, right? And my friends, That's not the truth. That's not how it really works, right? There's things that we have to do with our bodies. There's things that we have to do on a daily basis in order to stay healthy. We're going to talk about mental health a little bit, right? Because, to have a healthy body, you also have to have a healthy mind. And if you have a healthy mind, you also have to have a healthy body. They go hand in hand. Because if one is out of balance, the other suffers. Am I correct? The other suffers. If my mind is all messed up and I'm stressed out, then it's almost impossible for my physical body to do what it's supposed to do the way that it's supposed to do. And so, so we'll get to talk about that. We get to talk about money, right? One of the things as Black men that we don't talk about, right? We kind of hide it until it's to the point where it's almost too late, right? After everything's fallen apart, after everything is messed up, we said, why didn't you say something 6 months ago? We could have helped you figure this thing out. But no, you wait until now it's all gone and you're going through this stress. You're going through all these just crazy things that are part of it. And so we're going to talk about that. And if we don't get to the rest of our pillars, that's okay today. Because what I really want you to be able to learn and do and understand from Richard today is one is that there's a couple areas of your life that if you are able to concentrate on them and if you're able to work through them, you're going to do phenomenally well with whatever that rest of your life is. If you neglect some of these things, and these 2 things, your health and your money, they're kind of important. Richard, a lot of times when we get to talk about money, I get people or comments or, my money isn't everything. There's so much more to money. And I'm like, you are 100% right. Yeah. There is so much more to money. Yeah. And money, is money the most important thing? Maybe not, but it's up there with oxygen, right? Yeah. Because, here's what I know is that you need it to do everything, just about, right? It's something that we interact with every single day. In fact,
Mhm.
you're probably spending money if you own a home or you're renting a home and you're the one who pays the bills on it and you have
Mhm.
electricity on, you're paying every second of every day. You're spending money, right? And so we have
Oh
to have
yeah.
more money. You have to have more money than what goes out every single month. And here's where I know it's up there with oxygen, because people who tell me that they have money issues tell me it's hard to breathe, right?
It's
And
true.
so it's up there. It's up there with oxygen. And so, no, it's not the most important thing, but it is
Yeah.
the way that we barter for our materials and everything we have. They say
Oh
it's
yeah.
not important, but they'll spend 40 hours a week going to work trying to get it.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, exactly.
Yeah,
So,
that was the day.
more than they spend any time doing anything else other than sleeping, right? And so, money is just one of those things. If you do it right, the Bible says, the love of money is the root of all evil. That's right. If that's what you're doing is you're loving money over everything else, then yes, it could be a hindrance, but it's still how we interact. And especially if you say, well, I want to be able to help other people. I'll try to serve other people every single day without any money to
Yeah.
do it. Right? Even if you want to help a homeless
You can do
person,
it.
how are you going to help them if you don't have any and they don't have any? All you're going to do is help them talk about what you both don't have. You'll sit on the curb at the bus stop and you both will talk about all the things you don't have. That's the only way you're going to help them is talking to them. If you don't have any means to be able to give them stuff. I'm gonna get some, corn out of the or string beans out of my pantry, and I'm gonna give it to them. Well, how'd you
Uh-huh.
get the string beans and the corn in your pantry? I need to go ahead and stop because I'm gonna let you talk today because I've been
No, no,
talking.
no. You
Oh
can
my
go ahead and
gosh!
talk because I have a lot to talk about. We're here to talk together. We're having a conversation. So
Yes, yes.
you,
Well,
you
sometimes I get on these tangents and I'm like, because people just said that to me the other day, like, oh, you talk about money too much. We're going to talk about how you are able to take money and utilize it. So, Richard,
yeah.
I want you to start out with your story, because, for the folks that watch this podcast and listen to this podcast, what they find out is there are some really cool things about people. And
Mhm.
you're going to relate to somebody that I can't relate to. You're going to
Okay.
talk to somebody today that is listening to me and saying he's full of it, but you're going to be the person who changes their life. And so when you subscribe or you listen to these 100 Black Men, because one of the themes in this podcast that I found out is people say, I want to do things with like people who look like me. And I'm
Mhm.
sure you find that in Canada where there's folks
Oh
that
yeah.
are, what they say, well, who else is in here that's doing it? That looks like me, that shows me that I can do it. Especially when we start looking at our younger generation, they see athletes, they see actors, they see musicians, they see these famous people, and everybody wants to be famous, right? But they
Yeah.
see these people and say, "Well, I can't do that." But they don't see the electricians, they don't see the authors, they don't see the people, the day to day that are doing things that could do what they do. So go
It's
ahead and
true.
start with your story. I can't wait to hear all of it. We talked a little bit about it, and then we'll go on and talk about your books.
Okay. So I basically I've been living in Canada for 40 years, right? I've
Hmm.
been living in Canada for 40 years, but I came here when I was like 14 and 15 years. So just imagine you add 40 years to it. So I've lived in Canada here longer than I live in Africa, in West Africa, Ghana. But I mean, I love Africa and I also love Canada. That's where I live now. I
Yeah.
came here and I went to school and I went to college. I went to high school. I went to college and I went to university. And I mean, I realized that that's not what I want to do. You know, I took business computer system and I stayed here and I realized that's not what I want to do. So
Yeah.
I find that what I really want to do is I want to do something to inspire people to change people's life because I realize that I mean, you can have all the money in the world, you can have everything in the world. Whatever you do in life, if it's not elevating and helping someone's life to become better, what is the point of you being here? So that's my joy is to elevate and help people's life. So I was even struggling with my weight, and I was also struggling with money. That's why I came out with those two books that I wrote. So it was out of experience that I wrote those books. It wasn't like a fluke. It's something I experienced, and I became aware of the solution. And I decided to share the solution to the universe to help everyone that is struggling with money And also anyone that is struggling with their weight, because like you said, if you don't have your health, health is number one thing in the whole universe. You can have all the money in the world, you can have everything in the whole universe. If you don't have your health, you don't have nothing. For instance, if you are in bed, you can't get out of your bed, and you a billionaire, and they ask you that if you want to trade all your money for you to get out of bed, you trade all your money to get out of bed. So health is always number one, you know.
Yeah.
Always number one.
100%. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, it's this is my story. So I did a whole lot of stuff, and I end up uh, begin to write books, and I wrote it, like I said, as a result of my experiences. I was struggling with money every time I make money. Somehow I end up losing it. It doesn't matter how much money I made and how much work I do. I end up losing the money. I don't know what was happening to me, you know.
Yeah.
So I figured out a way, the real root cause of what's causing me to lose the money. And I wrote a book about it, in which I'm sharing the universe. Also, with my weight, I was struggling with my weight. I was weighing like 245, 224 pounds. And every time I lose the weight, I gain the weight back again. I lose the weight and I gain the weight back. I was really struggling. It was affecting my health. Sometimes when I go to bed at night, I can't even sleep. I was having issues with breathing. So I make it my personal journey to find a way how I'm going to bring my weight down. And whilst I was doing that, it was a big struggle. And I figured out the reason why people are actually struggling to lose their weight. And I'm so excited to share this information to the world, because I want everybody to use these principles to change their life to have a better life. So that's what I'm excited to share with, over here in this podcast. And I hope that whatever I share will change someone else's life, make their life better, because that's what I want them to do, to elevate their life to become better than what they had before.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, as far as you, do you have a family with you, or what is happening when you got to Canada? What was that like? I mean, you went to high school,
Yeah.
computers weren't it. What have you been doing with your life? I mean, I hope it didn't take you 40 years to write a book. Now in this day, I mean, the information 40 years, but actually writing it, that would be like a page a year, right? A couple of pages a year. So what have you been doing in the meantime to keep
Like
yourself
I'm a
busy?
reader.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
like to read, you know. So what happened to
Yeah.
me is that I was reading a lot, and
Okay.
when you read so much, you have to bring the wisdom down. So I actually grew up in a church, you know. My
Okay.
mom and dad, they both passed away, may they so rest in perfect peace. And they actually priests. So I grew up in a church, but I'm not a pastor, but I know a lot about the Bible, because that's the first book I ever read. Read was the Bible, you know.
Nice.
So I know a lot about it, you know, in and out. So, but they thought I was going to be a priest, but that's not what I want to do. I just want to do something to change people's life. And I
All
believe
right.
that whether you're a pastor or not, whatever
Mhm.
you are that you're doing to make somebody's life better, you're doing the work of the Lord, you know, just
Amen.
to elevate somebody's, make somebody's
Yeah.
life better. So
Yeah.
that's my whole point. Like whatever you do in life, you ask yourself this question:
Mhm.
this thing you do in life, if it's not going to make another person's better, you know, that's what we're here for, to
Yeah.
elevate you. You elevate me. We learn from each other, make our life better. Once you understand these principles, everything changes in the whole universe. You know, so you do things to serve people to make their life better. That's what we're here for. You know. But I came here, of course. I have a son. You know, he's a
Mhm.
6 year old. By the way, you know,
Okay.
you know, obviously, if I have a son, I have a partner. You know what I mean? So I did well, and I'm happy. I mean, to have a boy. You know, I always
Mhm.
want to have one, but I'm glad so I can impact this wisdom in his head to know more about life, you know? Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. What is it like being a dad? What does it mean to you to be a dad and be able to take care of somebody and protect somebody and love on somebody in a way that sometimes you don't get to do with any other person on the planet? What's that like?
Well, I mean, just looking at him, you know, it's like you're looking at yourself, you know,
Hmm. Hmm.
and it changes you. It make you want to do better in life. It change
Mm.
your perspective about life. Like before, if you don't have a kid, you look at like different. The moment you have a kid, you feel a sense of responsibility that I want to create a better life to take care of this one here. I want to set a good example. So he will see what I do. So you become just like me, because the kids, they don't listen to what you tell them to do. They watch what you do and they do the same thing. You know, so you have to be an example so that the kid can look up to you to become just like the dad. And you having somebody going to look up to you, it causes you to become a better person, you know.
Mhm.
So it causes you to be just be good, because when you just look at him, you just want to do something good, whether it's a boy or a girl. It doesn't matter so far as you have a healthy kid. That's what matters. And you learn more, so you want to teach them to become even better than yourself. You know, so it's an amazing thing to have a kid, and if you have it, you are blessed. It's good to come here on this planet here and to see yourself as you have somebody, just like somebody let you come in this universe, you bring somebody on this planet here. I think it's an amazing thing. It's a beautiful thing to be a dad, you know?
Yeah, I love it. And one of the just I mean, I don't know if I've told you this, but the one of the themes that has been prevalent in this podcast is this thing called fatherhood, and learning it. And yes, every child, and I say this a lot, every child needs to have a dad. Every child should not grow up on this planet without a father, without a dad that can be there for them and teach them. But it's just as important for us as dads to be
Yeah.
able to, like you said, my whole world changes with my ability to have a son and know that that's part of who I am and what I brought into this world. And, and just the sheer looking at, my son, I say, wow, there's got to be a God, because this doesn't just happen from
Oh yeah.
just when you look at the hands and the feet and everything else, you just go, my God, there's got to be more to this universe that could produce something that's so special. Whether it's a son or it's a daughter, it's just amazing. When you think about your identity, and who you are, uh, and who you've been able to come. You were born in Ghana, where a different country, where a
Mhm.
culture was part of where you are. Now you were taken from that culture, whether it's on your own volition or you moved, or your family moved you.
Mhm.
But you somehow your identity had to be additionally shaped while you were in Canada.
Oh
What are
yeah.
some of the things that you were able to keep as part of your culture, and some of the things that maybe you had to become part of to create the identity that is richer today?
Well, basically, in Ghana, we are very disciplined, and I mean, the way we were brought up, like if you like you can do that now in Canada here, we're brought up different. If you like back in the days in Africa, I mean, they used to beat us if you do something wrong, but you can't do that here in Canada and the United States. There's a way that you can discipline somebody by giving them a timeout or stuff. But back in the days in the back home, they used to beat you if you do something wrong. They actually physically beat you. It's not a proper way, but that's how we know, right? So we grew up, and when you come over here in Canada, you begin to learn a different way of living here, and it
Mm-hmm.
was quite interesting. But one thing I like about how I grew up in Ghana is that it teaches me discipline.
Yes.
It teaches me discipline because I went through, I saw how I grew up there in Africa. When I came here, I want to have a better life, right? So it's like a more when I came here, it was very easy for me because I was highly motivated. Things that used to bother people here in Canada, because I went through so many stuff in Ghana as a kid growing up, and I was strong and I was solid because of my foundation that I have with my parents. They wired me really strong. So when I came here, stuff that used to bother people here in Canada overseas never doesn't bother me. I was super focused, able to do the things I need to do. You know what I mean? So I'm very grateful that I was born in Ghana and I grew up there a little bit before I came here, because I don't know what I would have become if I didn't have that foundation. So basically, my African West Africa Ghana identity, me growing up over there, was my foundation of being who I am today over here. So actually, if you're building a house, you don't have a good foundation, the house is going to fall down, just like a tree doesn't have a good foundation and the ground is going to fall down. So my foundation was solid, even though I was just there for 14 years. It really wired me really good to come and do what I do here in Canada, because without that, I don't think I'll be able to survive. And I'm very thankful for my mom and dad. May their soul rest in perfect peace, and for everything they did for me. So they really helped me.
Absolutely. And were there any struggles being an African or a black man that was in Canada, obviously in Ghana, everybody, not everybody, but the majority of folks in Ghana are black. So it's a different culture, right? Because everything that you do everywhere
Yeah.
you go. How did that
Mhm.
translate into Canada? Now you're the minority. You're the person who is looked upon as being different.
When I came here, like my mindset is that, like the way I grew up, like I said, I grew up in a church, so I have a biblical foundation,
Mhm.
And to me, I see everybody creating the same image of God. I don't see anybody greater than anybody. It doesn't matter what your skin color, what you're black or green. So, like, I had this mentality in me as a kid growing up because I read the Bible and my
Mhm.
mind wasn't, I see myself as everybody. So, like, I don't look at another person because of the skin color or where they're from to be different from me. It's
Mhm.
just that who you believe yourself to be, because we all created in the same
Yeah.
image of God. There's nobody better than anybody. It's people that actually you believe you have in yourself that will determine what you become in life. So if you can't just look at somebody, because I believe from me growing up in the Bible in Ghana and knowing this stuff in the Bible that you can become whoever you want to be. It's all up to you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Mhm.
you can't point hand at this person have done this to you and this person has done this to you. You just have to focus and get what you're looking for. Because when you become really good at what you do, trust me, you're gonna get everything you want in life. Just be good at what you do and do it the best of the best. Become number one at what you do, and the, the gate, if it's just slow, is gonna open up for you to walk in. So just become really good at what you do, and nobody can stop you.
And I want to just add on to that because a lot
Yeah.
of people have said, like, I agree with you 1,000%. Become really good at what you do.
Oh yeah.
What are some things that you can do to be that? To be because we get into this comparison trap, right? Where we
Yeah.
see another person who's doing maybe the same thing that we're doing, and then we compare, well, I'm not there yet, or I'm not capable of doing that, or I can't be that person. You think of our athletes, right? I can't be Michael Jordan. No, God didn't give you that talent.
Oh yeah.
You're not 6'5", you're
Mhm.
5'4". So no, you're not going to be the greatest basketball player in the world, but you say, be the best you can be at whatever it is you're doing. What are some things you can do to be that?
Okay, so basically, everybody have a talent, God-given talent,
Mhm.
and the things that basically you drive you. Everybody have something that when they do, they don't need nobody to tell them what to do. It just when you are so excited when you do, you don't even feel like you're doing it. Like
Mhm.
you get
Mhm.
excited. Okay,
Yeah.
so you get to know basically your talent, your abilities. Just take a look at assess your life and take a look at the things that you enjoy doing it, and you have a strong desire to do. When you're doing it, you don't even get tired and nobody can tell you to
Mhm.
do. Just enjoy doing it. That's basically your talent. Stay in your lane. Don't compare yourself with anybody, and be good at that. Learn everything you have to do with that, and become really good.
Yeah.
And when that is done, man, there's no one
Mhm.
like you because this thing is given to you by God Himself, and everybody on this planet you have a talent. So that's your talent. What you desire to do, what you enjoy doing it. And once you figure that out in your life, when you just become great at it, work on the consistency, and you become so good. And when you are good, you could use it to get everything you want. That can provide you whatever you want in life. So just don't compare yourself, because that comparison is actually going to drive you crazy. It gets you distracted. You can't focus. Stay in your own lane and focus on who you know yourself, to what you're good at doing it, and become good at that. And when you do that, nobody can stop because that's your talent. Because if you try to want to become somebody else, then you know what I mean? It's like a big challenge. So try to be you. And when you are yourself and be true to yourself and love who you are, nobody can stop you. You know?
Yeah, and I think one of the things you said is there's the consistency in there. And so many
Yeah.
people, what they'll do is they start loving something, but that doesn't mean you're good at it yet. And you want to do it all the time, but you're
Yeah.
not good at it yet. And,
No.
you love doing it, but you're not good at it yet. And so they
Yeah.
give up before they can love it and be good at it. And so they're not consistent.
Yeah.
They don't continue to do it over and over again and get really good at it. Then they look at somebody else and go, well, he's doing that. Let me go do that. And then he's doing that. Let me go do that. And he's doing that and then go do that. But I hate doing this. I don't want to be a CPA because I hate
Yeah.
numbers. but he's good
Yeah.
at it and he's making money at it. So I'll go be a CPA when what I really like to do is gardening, right? I really like to
Yeah.
be out and it's no, stay consistent at what you love and get
Yeah.
good at it. You know, when we think
That's
about
it.
these doing these podcasts or we're doing, you know, the internet, everybody wants to be on social media. Everybody, and some people don't even like to talk to people. Well,
Yeah.
if you don't like it, don't do it. And if you do like it, your first videos, they're going to be terrible. They're not going to be good. You are not going to say things that people want to hear. You're just going
No.
to be a talking head that people aren't going to hear. But if you do it day in and day out, you get consistent at it. You watch other
Yeah.
people who are doing it and see what they're doing it. You follow the successes there. You love doing it. You enjoy doing it. Wrap yourself around it and do it and be the best you can be.
Oh
And
yeah.
just to add to that, there's room, right?
Oh yeah.
There's 6 billion people on the planet.
Oh
Somebody's
yeah.
gonna watch your videos, right? You don't have
Oh,
to be the best that you can be at it. You don't have to be like, oh well, it's saturated. I
yeah.
promise you, it's whatever it is you want to do is not saturated unless you're like trying to sell well blubber to heat lamps. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
saturated. You're not going to make any light in lamps with well blubber. You're going to have to get some electricity and some batteries and that kind of stuff at this day and age. But other
Yeah.
than that, the sky is the limit. I love that you said that. When we talk about, I want to jump into money right now, um,
Okay.
because you've written a book about it, and
Oh yeah.
there's some success and some guidelines and some things that I know can
I
help
can.
people.
I can. Is it okay if I show you? I show you the title. I
Absolutely,
just bring the book out so you can see it over here. You know,
absolutely. Let
is
me
a
switch you over here so I can see
is
you.
what
There
it
you
called.
go.
It's called. I hope that
Money.
is a money mindset, right?
Yep, it says money mindset program. Yep, that's what it says. I love it.
Reprogram your subconscious mind for what?
Reprogram yourself.
Yeah. So
Yes.
this is it over here.
So what's a money
Okay.
mindset?
Money mindset is basically you conditioning your mind to become successful. Basically, people, the things that you focus on is what you attract in your life. If you look at people, they focus on. Let's say if you are hungry, you got to focus on food. You don't have to focus on anger because you begin to attract the anger. So if you are somebody out there that trying to become financial free, you have to focus on things that will cause you to become financial free. Don't focus on the lack and the scarcity because you're going to attract it. Whatever your mind is a very powerful thing. Whatever you focus on it, it begin to come into your life. As you think, so shall you be. You become what you think about. So basically, you have to focus on what you're looking for, not what you don't want. So the money mindset is becoming consciously aware of what you want to attract it into your life so you can manifest it, you know, instead of focusing on the what do you call it, the limitation, the stuff you're going through. So when you do those things consistently and you program yourself really good, you begin to attract all this kind of wealth into your life. And people don't have this understanding. So I'm here to talk about how to change your personal life because once you understand that, all your money issues begin to disappear because you don't know how to think properly. I was going through the same thing too. I didn't know. I had to study and learn how to become aware of this stuff. And when I program myself for success, I begin to see so much money coming to me. I don't struggle anymore. So I said I can't keep this information to myself. People need to know about this stuff. That's why I wrote this book to change people's life because I want everybody to become wealthy. And most people believe that if you are talking about money and focusing too much about money is an evil thing, which is not true. Because you get up in the morning, you don't even want to get up from your bed. Okay. Even when the weather is winter, you go to work and work for 8 hours for this. And when you get the money, you say, oh, it's no good. You're being greedy. No, it is good. It's what you do with the money. Money itself doesn't have legs to walk. It's the how you use the money. For instance, you use a knife to cook in the house, the knife can cut your hands, right? You use a fire to cook, the fire can burn your hand. You use electricity as a light. If you put your hand there, it can electrify you. The same way with money. It's a good thing. It's how you use it. If you use it to do good, it become good. If you use it to do bad, it become bad. So money is a good thing. Never think that. Because if you think that in your mind, you're not going to get it. For instance, money is a spirit, okay? You have a wife and you love your wife, I'm sure. If you dislike your wife, you think your wife is going to like you? if you
Yeah.
dislike your wife,
Right. No, she ain't gonna
will your
like
wife
you.
like you? Exactly the same with money. So you don't say bad stuff about the thing, and you have to go work for 8 hours to go get it. It won't come to you. It's a spirit.
Mhm.
So we have to have a right mindset regarding money to be able to have it, to attract it, not to think that it's a bad thing. But yet we go to work and do 40 hours and work every single day just to get it to do stuff in life. So people need to change their mindset regarding money. That's why I wrote this book of Money Mindset. Once you have it, you'll be amazed how your life is going to be. It will change, you know, no time, you know.
Well, and what are some of the mindsets? I mean, what I mean, like right now, a lot of people have this mindset of lack, right? That I don't have enough, that I'll never have enough,
Oh
and
yeah.
no matter how much I bring in, it's not enough. And so even if you have a good month, let's say you go out there and you hustle and some extra money comes in, your mindset could be, well, it's still not enough. I'm always going to live in lack. What are some of the things that are the mindsets that we have to develop, and how do we develop some of those?
Just like you said, you said everything I need to say, no matter how much. So that mindset right here, okay, we have the conscious mind, we have the subconscious mind. Your conscious mind basically is your thinking mind, what you're thinking right now. And your subconscious mind is basically where all habits are formed. Okay. So basically, what you need to do, you have to write a money affirmation, okay, to change that program, because you already been wired like since we were kids. Like me growing up in Africa, I hear my parents talking about we don't have. So during the time I'm growing up, my mind has been wired like that. That program is inside my system. So when I grew up, I was struggling with money. I didn't know why I was struggling, because that program came from the environment I grew in. I was in Africa, just how Africa is. I'm not saying right now it's really good. Back in the days, right? So I was there, and the way they talk about money, the way my family, my mom and dad talk about money, so it programs me in a certain way that wasn't right me subconsciously. So when I grew up, even though I went to school and I was working so hard, that program that have in me was fighting against me to actually get the what I'm looking for. So after that happened to you for a long time, like you said, you begin to believe that you don't even work to receive money. It becomes like a part of you. So you don't have no faith. It takes away your faith. But the reason being is because that you need to know exactly how you have to change this mindset. Okay. You can start with a affirmation. You wrote a money affirmation like, I'm so happy, grateful, and thankful now that already I have unlimited abundance of money. Or I am so happy, grateful, and thankful that I am a money magnet. I attract unlimited abundance of money. Freedom. So you have to write an affirmation starting with the word I am, but at the end giving thanks. Okay. So you're gonna go something like, I am so happy, grateful, and thankful now that I'm already wealthy and rich, and I'm so happy and grateful. You have to give thanks at the end, something like that. So when you write something like that, you have to write it down and read it over and over and over. You could do like maybe 20 times, maybe 20 times over and over, like 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes before you go to bed. Do that for like, usually I do for 31 days, but I mean, you want to change this program that you have inside of you, okay? So the program, the thing is that, let me go back again. The subconscious mind, okay, is more powerful than your conscious mind. So when it's wired in a certain way, it's wired through repetition, something you do over and over. For instance, a person that is learning how to drive a bicycle. When you start learning how to drive a bike before, you didn't know how. When you sit down, you go sideways, right? So you have to do it over and over and over and over. Once your subconscious takes it, you sit on the bike and you drive it freely. Just the same way learn how to drive a car. When you learn how to drive a car, you're like this. You're so nervous looking around. But once you do it over and over and over, you become good. You can drive a car and drink and do so many stuff at the same time. The same way with money. So you have to write that affirmation and reprogram your soul, which is a subconscious mind, through consistent affirmation and repetition. And you program that subconscious mind through repetition. But the secret is that the subconscious mind is a million times powerful than your conscious mind. So once that thing is programmed, it causes you to do things willingly, unintentionally. It will make you do stuff. Just like somebody know how to play really good. Michael Jordan, is really good at playing what do you call basketball. He just know how to shoot. Look at Steph Curry. They just know how to shoot consistently. It's a consistent practice. They become so good. When you become good, they can stay anywhere and shoot it because the program has it already. The same way with money. People don't know that you have to program that subconscious mind, because if you don't program it and become aware that you are worthy, when you even win a lottery, okay, you will lose the whole money. That tells you why people will win like maybe $100 million, and in 2 years they're going to lose the whole money because they are not programmed subconsciously worthy. So once you program it and become consciously aware that you are actually rich and worthy, it will cause you to do things that will sustain the money. So the whole thing is change within. In Christian religion, say, uh, well, unless the Lord give you, you just live in being. Okay, so basically, unless you become consciously aware that you are what were you looking for, you're just gonna work over and over, and you're gonna lose it. So until I believe you program yourself through repetition by repeating your affirmation over and over, or you can also do that with imagination. Imagination. You can imagine yourself in the kind of car you want to drive. You can imagine yourself living in the kind of mansion that you want to live in. See you and your family, your wife and kids traveling. Look at your bank account, seeing this much money there. As you doing that consistent over and over for like maybe 31 days, you can even do it for 6 months if you want to really take to the next level. It will program your subconscious mind and cause you to do things that to achieve this work, man. So instead of you to struggle to keep the stuff that you're doing, it will cause you to actually become very easy, you know. So if you're struggling to save money or do stuff, if you have the program down within you, it will help you to actually to achieve your dream very easily. You know, you have to do the work though, but it won't be hard than you having programmed the subconscious mind. It will go against you to lose what you have. You know what I mean? You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of the things I want to ask you, because this is where I think people really get confused, because I believe in affirmations. And I think affirmations are super important. And, hey,
Mhm.
money flows to me, and money comes to me easily. And, when I get money, I do wonderful things with it.
Mhm.
Um, at the same time, if those affirmations are affirming that money is good, but at the same time, during the day, I'm going, money is evil. Money is bad. If I have money, it's not going, all it's going to do is lead to wrong. And if you have too much of it, or I don't have enough of it, and you're just kind of fighting yourself. You're saying the positive affirmation, but at the same time, your belief is telling you that money is bad. How do we, can just enough affirmations override that, or do we have to
Okay.
stop saying money is bad, money is evil, money is hurting people, money is the worst thing ever? I mean, what do we do there?
Okay. So one thing I want to make it clear to the people that are watching this is that you see, it's your divine right to become rich. Everybody is born rich, okay? There's no
Mhm.
one that born on this planet here that's born to be in poverty. You have to get that in your mind, okay? Because some people have certain wrong people around them that actually has caused them to believe this stuff from the time they're little. We call it limited beliefs that they have regarding money, which is affecting them, okay? So everyone that's watching me, you have to understand exactly what I'm saying. You have to come in terms with you that it is our divine right. Everyone that walk on this face of this earth to become rich. There's no one that born poor. Okay? Everybody is created in the same image of God, and the Lord is rich. So no one is born to be not have money. It's just that when you were born, the people that you associate yourself with, and the people that are around you, that cause program you to believe this stuff. Okay, so anyone that live in a poor family, if they were born in a rich family, they'll become rich because the surroundings are rich people. You know what I'm saying? So they program the mind in that way. So this belief system, the question you asked me, I'm going to answer the question. Okay. The question I'm going to answer, I'm going to give you is that mindset talking about what you just tell me is that when you consistently affirming this word in your mind, you do it consistently over and over and over, it will change those limited beliefs you have within yourself. So if you have this belief ingrained in you from your parent or the people you used to associate yourself with, the environment or the place you used to live, because they are not consciously aware they are worth it. As you doing the affirmation is going to program your subconscious mind, which is your soul, that will cause you not to think this stuff anymore. So you begin to see money different. And before even this happen, you have to understand this. Money is good and it's your divine right to be rich. Don't ever think in your mind for once that you didn't come to this world to become wealthy. and money is unlimited. You, my friend, doctor, you can have billions of dollars, unlimited money. I can have unlimited money. Everybody can have, and there will still be money left for everybody. So they have to understand that there is no limit. The Lord is unlimited. So everything that the Lord created is unlimited. So money is unlimited. There's no limit. You can have billions of dollars. I can have some, and everybody can have some, and we're all going to be fine. And there'll still be more for everybody there. So don't ever think that, oh, you're getting this money, so you're greedy. No, you're not greedy. You have to become all you can become, because when you have them, you can use it to help people around you to make the world a better place. It's a good thing to have it, you
Yeah.
know?
And we have to, we have to watch what we allow into our mind, I think, because when you start thinking, like, if we watch television shows, right, it's always the rich guy who's bad and corrupt, and and we start watching that and think, well, if everybody I see that is wealthy, I used to have my grandma used to say things like, oh, they just got a new car over there, they must be selling drugs, right? Not
Exactly.
that they could have earned the money to be able to go buy a brand new car, right? But if
Yeah,
they have it, then they must have done something bad to get it. And that becomes part of our mindset, is like, well, if I
exactly.
obtain it, if I start making money and I start doing well, then somehow I got to tone that down a little bit, because others are going to think
And you
that
feel
I got
guilty.
it by some mean, right? And so we
Hmm.
stop ourselves from becoming wealthy because we're worried about what other people think,
Oh yeah.
and what we think that means. Well, if I'm making this money, I must be doing something bad. And like
Yeah.
you just said, no, money's good.
Yeah.
Money allows us to be able to do the biggest philanthropists on the planet can't
Yeah.
be philanthropists. They can't give away stuff without money, right?
Exactly.
You gotta have it to be able to give it.
You have to
We go,
have
well,
it.
we gotta tithe at church, and so it's God's. But if I have too much, well, how many people are not tithing because they believe they don't have enough to give to God all the time because money is bad? And so, uh, however, the affirmations are super important, but it's also to be aware of, I think, the mindset that you have behind, like you said in your book, right? The
Yeah.
mindset behind it that says, wait a minute, this isn't a bad thing. Money in itself is just a piece of paper, right? It's what it
Yeah.
represents. It's a value that it represents, that we assign value to it, but then we
Yeah.
also assign value to ourselves
Yep.
based on how much of it we have or how much
Yeah.
we don't have. So no,
Yeah.
I'm poor. I'm always gonna be poor. I'll never be able to make it. I don't make enough. I can't. My job isn't gonna give me more money. Da 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 da. The world owes me something, right? We assign
Exactly.
value to ourselves based
Exactly.
on the amount of money. It's just interesting that we're there. So read the book. Go get the book.
Go get
Change
the
your
book.
mindset. Work on your mindset. I want to pivot a little bit over to health, because um, health is, that, like you said, is the most important thing that we could possibly have, because without it, we don't have anything. It doesn't
No.
even matter how much money I have. If I don't have my health, what, I'm going to sit up in the hospital bed and I'm going to spend it on what? The next television show to watch, right? I'm going to help who? And black, at least here in America, the average black man lives to 72 years old. That's what our average is. And that's
Mhm.
much lower than our white counterparts, our Asian counterparts, even our Hispanic counterparts.
Yeah.
What is it that, and I think a lot of it has to do with our stress and our mental health. So maybe
Okay.
kind of talk about your book and what we can do in order to make sure that we maintain health. There's so many commercials and so many things. I mean, every other commercial is about some kind of food, right? Every, of what we put into our bodies. Then we hear about carcinogens, and we hear about all these things that then increase our weight. And then
Yeah.
now, because our weight is more, we can't move around. So now we feel bad. And it's just this circular thing. The book that I wrote is called There Is No Tiger, which is about overcoming overthinking and controlling anxiety. And a lot
Yeah.
of it is overthinking because of our health and
Okay.
because we can't do stuff. Kind
Mhm.
of tell us about what that means in our health world.
Okay. So before I talk about that, I have a book here
All
that I will
right, let's
show
see
you.
it.
I read about health. Okay. So I'll
All
put the book
right,
up here.
there
So
we
you take a
go.
look at it. Okay. So this book here. All right. What am I doing? Say, okay,
Four.
I got it. Also, you
There we
see,
go. 4 step something. Fourth
So
step to losing weight. Okay.
okay, you keep struggling to lose weight until you try this four-step method of losing weight. So this is a book. You keep struggling to lose weight until you try this four-step method of losing weight.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, uh, I wrote this book because I was struggling my weight, and like I was struggling with this my weight for a long time, for like probably a couple of years, and I didn't know what to do. Right now I weigh 163 pounds. I was weighing 224 pounds. Just imagine that. I was really huge, and I was having issue breathing. And the reason why I started to work on my weight is because I was walking in the park one day, and a random person came out of nowhere. The guy asked me to come. I was so excited to go see what this guy had to tell me. And when I went close to this guy, he looked me in the eye and tell me, this is the exact words he said to me: "Dude, you're fat. You need to lose weight."
No, you didn't. How tall are you? Just as we can kind of get an
Well,
idea.
I'm like 6'8". No, I'm seven. I'm five eight, 5'8". You
Okay,
know,
yeah. So if you were 6'8" though, and you
no,
weighed
no,
225, yeah,
no,
it
no,
would
no.
work,
I'm
right?
I'm 5'8". I'm
And you're
five
weighing
eight.
225. So he was saying you're a fat man
I
and
was
you
I
need to
was
lose
fat.
weight.
I was
And he
fat
told you
because
like
my
stop
height.
walking in the park or what you're doing, what you're supposed to do, right? Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
God.
So he said that to me, and I was really offended. Also, I'm happy that you told me, because that's what caused me to actually focus on this weight loss. And one
Hmm.
thing I realized is that, okay, that I want to share over here is that I'm a really focused person and a really determined person. Everything I put my mind to it, I accomplish it. So what was happening to me is that I will lose the weight and I'll
Hmm.
gain the weight back again. I'll lose the
Okay.
weight and I'll gain the weight back again. This was going on over and over and over. And I said to myself, I'm not going to give up. I want to find exactly what's happened, because it was affecting my health. I
Hmm.
couldn't breathe properly. And if you don't have your hair, like we say, we don't have anything. And being lean actually gives you so much benefit. And being overweight, trust me, you won't live long. So staying lean cut off a lot of diseases that, I
Hmm.
mean, high blood pressure, heart attack, and all those kind of stuff. So when you lose weight, it becomes extremely healthy. So what happened is that I was reading a book called The Power of Subconscious Mind. Okay, and I figured out that we unconsciously, the same way, has programmed our subconscious mind with a certain kind of weight size in us, that every time you go to the gym, it's not like the gym you're going to is not working. It's not like the diet you're on is not working. All of this stuff works. But the
Hmm.
question I want to ask you, that why is it that every time you lose a weight, it seems to have a desire to go back and eat a certain way to lose a weight again? So once I figured that out, that when I was fat, like when I was big, in the mirror, okay, and as I'm looking at myself in the mirror, I know how much I weigh. I can see myself in the mirror. It was
Hmm.
programmed my subconscious by telling me that this is how I look like. And when I stand on the scale after I come from the gym, my soul, which is my subconscious mind, knew how much I weigh. So as I'm doing all this stuff, I was programming myself by how much I weigh. So I unconsciously program my subconscious mind with a certain kind of weight goal that I don't want. So once I discovered that, I said to myself, until I change, okay, that image that I have in my subconscious mind, I'll keep struggling. So once I change the image, so I decided I begin to imagine myself weighing 163 pounds. I begin to see people around me congratulating me. Wow, you dropped your pay. What did you do? I begin to stand on the scale and imagine myself weighing the amount I want to weigh. And I wrote an affirmation how much I want to weigh. So I was doing that over and over and over consistently. I did it for a while, and guess what? When I started going to the gym, I didn't have any desire to go in the middle of the night. All those snacks I was eating to gain weight again. The thing that was causing me to actually do the stuff, okay, that is making me gain weight. Everything stopped from there. But there's a secret though. Uh, I never used to eat a certain kind of fruit. There's a fruit called dragon fruit. I wasn't a fruit person. All of a sudden, I developed an interest in eating certain kind of fruit. Now I make one fruit shakes every day. This is not me. Once I change the program in me, it causes me to start doing this stuff. So I figure out that, okay, someone like me, I don't have no interest in no food. I like to eat chicken, all that kind of stuff, big meal, big number of night. I cut all that. So once I started eating that way, because I changed the program, I begin to stay lean. I wasn't struggling anymore. I don't get up. I don't have any desire to go eat any food that will cause me to gain weight. Actually, when I go to the gym and I lose the weight, I don't gain the weight back because my soul, which is a subconscious mind, is causing me to do things to sustain the way that I have programmed it to be. So there's a secret in this book over here. And I have 4-step method of doing that in that book that I have over here. So that's what I use to change this weight. So if you're out there struggling your weight that you don't know what to do, I would say you should take a look at this book here and you change your life forever. You will change your life. It's okay. Look, I mean, it's not that much. You just go and grab one. There's no harm in trying. So, and take a
So
look at
can
it.
you give us, I know I would say don't tell us all 4 steps because then you don't need to go buy the book, right? You give
Okay.
us at least one of the steps that we should go do in order in your 4-step process to lose weight, and then we can go grab the book to find out the other 3.
Okay, so I already talked about those two. I'm going to tell you, uh, let me just say, because you don't want to give you the whole 4. So I'll
Yeah.
just give you one that you guys already know. Okay,
All
so
right.
the most important one, like all the other ones, that the most effective one is basically I mean, they're all effective, they all work, but I want to give you something that will actually going to help you. Just try the imagination one, okay? I want you to, if you're listening to me here, okay, I want you to sit down before you go to bed at night. Before you go to bed, I want you to imagine yourself weighing exact how much you want to weigh. Looking at yourself in the mirror, looking at yourself in the mirror, seeing yourself how much exactly you want to weigh, seeing yourself fit in the jeans that doesn't fit you, seeing yourself the goal size that you want to weigh. Hear your friends telling you, congratulations, you look so good, you lost a little weight. Hear them saying how much you weigh, and you telling them in your imagination, whoa, I weigh this much money. And say, wow. And see yourself stand on the scale consistently, weighing the exact weight that you want, the weight goal you want to weigh. Do that consistently for 31 days. And if you want to really ingrain in your system, do it for as long as you want. So once you see you can do it for like 2-3 months. Definitely is enough, and you're gonna see changes. You're gonna start doing change. But if you want this to work supposed to be effective, you're gonna add all those 4 steps that I have together and just keep doing that, and you'll be amazed the result you're gonna get. You will just shrink. And the thing is that once the program is done, instead of the program going against you to lose the weight, it's gonna support you to sustain your weight. Because one before I wasn't aware of this struggle. It was causing me to eat junk food that would cause me to gain weight. Once the program was changed, it was causing me to make fruit that I don't like so that I can sustain my weight. So that's why I wrote the title of the book. You will keep struggling to lose weight until you try this 4-step method of losing weight. Extremely very powerful and effective, Yeah.
I love it. And what I think of is it takes all 4 steps, right? You can't just do it in one step. You know what? And I think it's so important to,
Yeah.
imagine yourself and think about yourself and see yourself in that place. And, turning on that reticular activator system, your body's system of your subconscious mind that you said is more powerful than our conscious mind to be able to set it forth. But my
Mhm.
friends that are on here that are listening to this, if you think for a second that you're just going to think your weight, you're just going to think about it every night, and all of a sudden you're going to lose weight. There's 3 other steps that go as part of this. There's other things that you have to do in order for it to make. You just can't lay in bed at night and then wake up in the morning and you're
Yeah.
10 pounds lighter. It's not going to work that way. There's going to be some things
Yeah.
that you're going to have to do, and I think that you need to make sure that you get the book to be able to do that. Richard,
Yeah.
we have been having some fun and we've been talking, and I want to know, is there anything else that we didn't get to today that you wanted to make sure that we talked about in our show today?
Well, I would say that like also you have to be very grateful. You have to be very grateful for, like, when you get up in the morning, just be grateful for you being alive. Be grateful. Thanksgiving and being gratitude is one of the biggest key in life. The more you are grateful for whatever you do in life, the more you are grateful, the more you get more of that. So be thankful for who you are, love who you are, and be grateful for everything you do. Give thanks when you get up in the morning. Don't focus on the wrong stuff that's happened to your life. Focus on the good stuff that's happened to your life and be grateful about that. And once you become more grateful about the good stuff, you focus on the good stuff, grateful about it, more blessing will come to you. It will cause your mind to see good. So the things you focus on is what comes in your life. So being grateful is a way of saying to the Lord, you are grateful for being here, for all the good things happen to your life. Because people tend to, every time they wake up in the morning, they are moody and they focus on the wrong stuff in life. They're not even, I mean, at that time that you awake, your 2 feet is above ground, you are healthy, you have roof over your head, you even have a job, you have water to drink. At that moment, the people at the hospital can't even breathe. They can't even walk. Some don't even have hands. Some can't even see. You know what I'm saying? So you have all this stuff in the air that will breathe. So I want people to be very grateful and don't take this thing for granted. Be grateful. When you get up in the morning, be grateful for being alive and focus on the good stuff that in your life and be grateful about it. And you're going to see a big change in your life too. You know what I mean? It's very important.
I love it. I love it. You have to have an attitude of gratitude. Every
Yeah,
single day, we have an attitude of gratitude. And then your attitude determines your altitude, and we should be flying high, right? Because
oh
we
yeah.
got an altitude that's up there and we're flying high because we got this thing, thankful, just, hey, I got up this morning. I'm 6 feet above ground.
Oh
I'm,
yeah.
God has given me 2 hands and 2 feet. And you could go for 10, 15 minutes and think of all the things that you're blessed with.
Oh yeah.
Each and every single one of us. The fact that we're able to be on this podcast, to be able to talk to each other, the fact that you on the audience are able to watch this podcast means that you have electricity, you have a computer, you have all these things. And most likely you have your health enough to be able to do it. And so we want to continue doing that. Well, Richard, thank you for spending the time today to talk about your books. I want you to go ahead and make sure that people have the ability to get a hold of you however they would. What are the websites that you have, things that people would be able to interact with you in order to find out more about what we talked about?
Okay, so you can see my name over there. It's Richard Trillian Mante. So my website is richardtmante.com. So basically, you just take the trillion out. You put the the Richard T Mante. Don't put the trillion. Just put the T number .com, and you go to my website. And I have the books on my website. You can also get my books at Amazon. I publish those books at Amazon. And if you put Richard Trillian Mante's book at Amazon, the moment you put in there, the books, I mean, this color, I show them to you. And the moment you're going to see it over here, I have my picture at the back here, so you will see it and go pick up one of the books and change your life. Trust me, just grab one of those books because you will never regret spending that much money. It's not that much money, but this right here can change your life, make your life way better. And I'm very happy to share this information because I'm just interested in you becoming healthy, interested in you becoming wealthy and rich so you can support your family and stay healthy.
I love it. And what I'm seeing, I look at your name there. It says Richard $1 Trillion Man. That's what I look on there and see that he's making it happen in a big way. And so, for those of you who are just watching this maybe for the first time, I want you to go ahead and do the YouTubey things that you do. Hit subscribe. It's going to be, this is out. If you're listening to this on podcast, you heard it. Go and get the books. So not only just support the folks that are doing some things. This is information that will help you in your life. This is information that will transform you. So many of us are afraid to work on ourselves, to do personal development, to think of the things that we need to do on a daily basis. And if you're willing to watch this, that tells me one thing, that you're wanting more out of life. Otherwise, you spend the time to even listen to us. And if you got to this point in the interview where you've listened to us an hour, you either are really good friends and you're doing it because we love you, or you're doing it because you want to know more. Now, if you are really good friends and you love us, then you need to even do some of these things even more than what we talked about today. Because every time that you get on and you're working on you, you're also helping somebody else. And like I said, my goal is to help others become the person that they need to be in order to do the thing that God put them on this earth to do. And that's exactly what you're doing. We're proud of you for being on. Just continue to subscribe, watch these videos, find somebody who resonates with you in a way that you can move forward in your life. And again, Richard, thank you for being on. I can't wait to see where you go, and make sure that you continue to be blessed. And thank you guys for being on, and enjoy another show of the Journey to Freedom podcast. We'll see you
And
on the
thank
next.
you so much for having me. It was a privilege and a pleasure meeting you. You are awesome.
Absolutely. Have a
Thank
great day, guys.
you.